EVs are bonus stats that you can give to your Pokemon, and the EV system is one of the most important mechanics in competitive play. EV stands for effort value, and there are various ways in the games to increase your effort values for each stats, thus increasing the stats themselves. For the vast majority of competitive sets, the EVs that you choose for your Pokemon are pretty simple. For example, this Weavile set simply maxes out its attack and speed to make Weavile more effective as a fast attacker. You are limited in the amount of EVs that you can distribute to your stats, so most of the time it's best to just maximize your strongest stats. But sometimes EV spreads get very intricate. Competitive players are all about one-upping each other with whatever advantages they can find, and running meticulous EV spreads designed to counteract multiple things at once can enhance your chances of victory. Take this Snorlax spread from Gen 3, for example. What's going on with this? Unlike that Weavile set we just mentioned, which was very simple, this Snorlax has exactly 92 HP EVs, 116 attack, 144 in each of the defenses, and 12 in speed. Believe it or not, there is a meticulous reasoning behind every single choice occurring here. And I would like to highlight not only this set, but many oddly specific Pokemon sets throughout the years that use EVs in ways we can never dream of to cover as many things as possible in the metagame and optimize their matchups. Now, the crazy thing about Snorlax in Gen 3 is that it actually has multiple rather meticulous EV spreads like this, and the one I'm showing you here is just the EV spread for what's called Utility Snorlax. Utility Snorlax is not used as a win condition, like you would expect. Snorlax is known for its Curse and Rest combo, allowing it to become so bulky that it's indestructible. Plus it's one-shotting everything. That's one way to use Snorlax, but this Snorlax here is focusing more on immediate value. This Snorlax is running 4 attacks, maximizing its coverage. Body Slam is important, because Body Slam is able to spread paralysis. And Self-Destruct is also being used here because this Snorlax is not aiming to stick around and heal with rest and live forever. This Snorlax is happy to sacrifice itself to get one last KO when it's on low health. So why would this Snorlax run such a different EV spread to other Snorlaxes? And what are the reasonings behind all these EVs? This precise amount of attack, 116 EVs in attack with an adamant nature, allows Snorlax to one-hit KO Dugtrio with Body Slam, which is very important. If Snorlax's attack was any lower, Dugtrio would be able to survive a Body Slam and squeeze in one extra Earthquake, potentially eliminating Snorlax much more of the time. But this is the most important thing Snorlax needs to one-hit KO, so it doesn't need to invest fully in its attack, it just needs this precise amount of attack to guarantee the most important one-hit KO, and the rest of its stats can be used to help out in its defenses. The 92 HP and well-rounded 144 in each defensive stat is not really for anything specific, it's mostly just because Snorlax, with this set, is tanking a wide variety of different physical and special hits, and distributing the bulk pretty evenly like this is a good choice. As for the 12 EVs in speed, this does have a purpose, because if you happen to land a paralysis with Body Slam against Aerodactyl or Jolteon, without any speed investment, you're actually still slower than these Pokemon. These Pokemon are extremely fast, reaching up to 394 maximum speed. But with exactly 12 speed EVs, you will outrun both Aerodactyl and Jolteon after paralyzing them. Other Snorlax sets that do not run Body Slam do not need these 12 speed EVs, but if you're running Body Slam, you absolutely should run these EVs. And your EV spread on this kind of Snorlax will also change depending on the moveset you're running, because sometimes these kinds of aggressive Snorlax sets choose to drop Body Slam in favor of Curse for a very interesting reason. This set is able to lure Skarmory and KO it with the combination of Curse and Self-Destruct, because after the attack boost from Curse, with precisely 172 attack EVs and an adamant nature, Self-Destruct will one-hit KO Skarmory. This is a fantastic way to lure Skarmory because it's your most common switch-in. Skarmory completely walls Snorlax the majority of the time and also roars it out, denying its Curse boosts. So this set is kind of disguising itself as the other win condition rest Snorlax, but in reality it is baiting Skarmory to die to this self-destruct, which can be a way to enable your teammates who hate Skarmory. In this case, you don't need those speed EVs because you're not running Body Slam, you can't paralyze anything, and you need this particular attack benchmark to achieve what you want. Another Pokemon known for various intricate EV spreads in Gen 3 is Gengar. Now you can run Gengar in the straightforward way, just maxing out its special attack and speed, with 252 EVs in each, but this Gengar set is under a lot of pressure. A lot of common hits just one-hit KO this Gengar, and this special attack doesn't achieve any particular benchmark, it's just maximizing your damage generally. But this Gengar set right here is designed for various important scenarios that Gengar finds itself in. This Gengar spread is very intricate, and it's known as defensive Gengar. This guy has 248 HP EVs, 44 defense, 8 special attack, 112 special defense, and 96 speed with a timid nature. So what is all this for? Well, this amount of bulk, with the HP and special defense included, allows Gengar to live the most important hit it wants to live, Tyranitar's Pursuit. Pursuit is a special attack in Gen 3, and with this precise amount of EVs, if Gengar is on full HP and it switches out of Tyranitar, it will just barely survive Pursuit. Even if Sandstorm is up, which of course it is, because Tyranitar's on the field. Living this hit is crucial because it allows Gengar to come in one more time and block Rapid Spin or Explosion, or Earthquake or something it's immune to. Gengar is immune to a lot, and having a low health Gengar is very valuable because it can still find so many entry points even though it's on low health, and the things it blocks are so high impact. But that's not the only hit you're surviving with this Gengar spread. This Gengar spread also allows Gengar to be a backup check to 2 common Dragon Dance Pokemon, those being Salamence and Gyarados. With 44 defense, along with that HP, Gengar will survive a +1 attack boosted Hidden Power Flying from both Gyarados and Salamence, and you can strike them back with a lethal one-hit KO. Ice Punch will KO Salamence and Thunderbolt will KO Gyarados. Having this backup plan against one of the most common win conditions in the game can be very important depending on the team, and while you're already investing in so much HP, you might as well hit this benchmark. It is very valuable and it can save your life. As for the speed, this is precisely enough speed to outrun Timid Moltres, who has 307 speed. But with these EVs you achieve 308 speed with this Gengar. Some other nice hits that you happen to survive with this spread are Starmie's Psychic. You do die after Sand, but you can use Explosion and trade with Starmie. And also Choice Band Aerodactyl's Rock Slide. There's a high chance you'll be flinched, but this can be a backup plan if your rock resistance has found itself in an early grave. So the amount of stuff this Gengar is doing at once with this EV spread is kind of unbelievable, isn't it? This is one of the most optimized spreads I'm aware of that is a popular one in competitive. This is not just an EV spread one guy uses on a team, or one guy came up with. This is well known and widely used on Gengar in Gen 3 OU, which I think is very cool. I could talk much longer about the intricacies of Gengar, but I've already done that in my dedicated Gengar video. Go check that out if you're interested in more about Gen 3 Gengar. This is the last Gen 3 one, I promise. Gen 3 has a lot of very intricate EV spreads that I could talk about. But the last one I want to highlight is this standard Claydol EV spread. This is the most popular Claydol EV spread in Gen 3, and it's a weird looking EV spread, isn't it? Why the hell does this have a minus special attack nature, subtracting from the special attack, but then 32 EVs in special attack? What in the world is going on with that? Not only that, it has exactly 216 attack with an adamant nature to boost that attack. Why would you subtract from a stat and then add more stats to it? What's the purpose behind that one? The reason for the attack is a very important one. With 216 attack EVs and a plus nature, Claydol is able to 2-hit KO bulky Tyranitar sets. This is the most important offensive benchmark for Claydol to hit, because without this, Tyranitar would be able to squeeze in one extra hit and possibly 1v1 Claydol more often. So this precise amount of attack is important. And when deciding on a nature for Claydol, you are kind of in an awkward spot in terms of which stat you want to subtract from. You do not want to subtract from either of your defensive stats. They are very important. Physical defense is great to stomach hits from a lot of common things, especially Tyranitar, Aerodactyl, and Salamence. Special defense, you definitely cannot get rid of, because Claydol has such a high base special defense of 120. To subtract 10% of that will be a significant blow. Subtracting from speed seems like an okay choice, but speed is also kind of important for Claydol, because if you have a minus speed nature on Claydol, you can no longer outrun a Metagross without speed investment. Metagross, with its base stats alone, is faster than a minus speed nature Claydol. And that's bad news, because Claydol needs to outrun Metagross to threaten it with Earthquake. That's extremely important. So the best one you can do is subtracting from special attack. It's the lowest base stat you have that you can subtract from with only base 70. But awkwardly, when you subtract from special attack, you are nerfing the damage of Psychic, which is one of your most important options. Psychic is a special attack, and Psychic is crucially super effective against Gengar, one of your most common adversaries. Gengar loves to come in on Claydol because it can block Rapid Spin and Explosion from taking effect, so Psychic is crucial to be able to hit this common rival. But if you subtract from your special attack with your nature, Psychic no longer 2-hit KOs Gengar with Sandstorm up, which is terrible. This also allows Gengar to achieve one extra turn and 1v1 Claydol more often. So that's how this set arose. With precisely 32 EVs in special attack, Claydol can achieve that important 2-hit KO of Gengar with Sandstorm up. This set allows Claydol to do everything it needs to do, outrunning bulky Metagross sets, 2-hit KOing bulky Tyranitar sets, and 2-hit KOing Gengar in Sand. It looks weird, but this is the optimal set for most teams, achieving everything Claydol needs to do in the metagame. Moving on to a competitive set from Generation 4, this mixed attacking Swampert set has a rather intricate EV spread, don't you think? This set right here has the fun move selection of Earthquake, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Focus Punch. And the EVs are 112 in HP, 216 in attack, 100 in special attack, and 80 in speed, even though you have a minus speed nature. What's going on with this one? Mixed attacking sets often face a dilemma with what nature they choose, because natures add to one stat and subtract from another. Usually mixed attackers are going to just subtract from one of their defensive stats, because they want to be fast, they don't want to lose speed. And they want to have access to both of their attacking stats, because they're mixed. So usually tanking a bit of a defensive hit is the best option. But in the case of Swampert, this is a bulky mixed attacker. Thanks to its water ground tapping, it resists a lot of stuff, it's very sturdy, it's resistant to stealth, rock damage, and it chip heals in the sand. So Swampert can be a good defensive answer to things still with a set like this, but it also wants to attack on both sides of the spectrum. For this reason, it's best for this Swampert set to subtract from speed. It needs all of its other stats much more than it needs its speed, which is its lowest stat anyway. But why then does it have 80 EVs in speed? With this particular spread, Swampert reaches 158 speed, which is just enough to outrun Clefable. And Clefable is one of the most common defensive Pokemon in Gen 4 OU, and one of the most crucial to outrun. Even though you're subtracting from speed, this benchmark is so important that it's worth some of your precious EVs to hit it. The precise amount of attack this Swampert has is also for Clefable. With 216 attack and an adamant nature, Focus Punch is able to one-hit KO Clefable. Focus Punch is one of my favorite moves of all time. It has a massive power of 150, but it only works if you do not take damage on that turn. For this reason, you have to use it predictively, either assuming the enemy will switch out, or use a non-attacking move like a healing move or a status move. This can be great against Clefable because it's unexpected. They often use Toxic or Wish or Soft Boiled, and even if they Soft Boiled all the way back up to 100%, this Focus Punch will just smack them completely and one-shot them. Great way to eliminate a Clefable by surprise. And this amount of attack is all you need for this particular benchmark. It's the most important offensive benchmark to hit, so the rest of the EVs can be spread elsewhere. This set chooses to put 100 EVs into special attack, and the reason for that is because with just this amount of special attack, Swampert is able to 2-hit KO defensive Rotom sets and Skarmory with its Hydro Pump. Sets like this and sets like all the ones I've described so far are great examples of why I love EVs as a mechanic. It's beautiful how much you can accomplish with just EVs. Teching for specific matchups, the speed benchmark and both of the offensive benchmarks are all you need. I love how efficient this is with the stats provided. And it makes you think how many stats are wasted in most standard EV spreads. Do you really need all of this attack? Can you subtract some just so you one-hit key matchups and then put the rest in HP? Maybe that HP lets you live a hit you wouldn't otherwise. Optimized EV spreads are a very beautiful thing, I think. In the Gen 5 metagame, a Pokemon famous for having a huge amount of intricacy and variety in its EV spreads is Thundurus-Therian. This Pokemon is EV'd in different ways depending on its moveset and depending on the team as well and what you need to cover. This Thundurus-Therian set is running Substitute as a way to answer incoming status moves, trying to cripple it, and also gain free turns by surviving hits, and is EV'd for Substitute to be as rewarding as possible. With this investment of 104 HP and 144 in defense, Thundurus-Therian is able to take less than 25% damage from Ferrothorn's Power Whip and Jirachi's Body Slam, which means in those matchups you can earn a free turn, and that's a significant amount of momentum to gain. It makes those Pokemon really struggle against you. What's also fun is that with 104 HP and just 4 special defense EVs, Thundurus-Therian also survives Latios's Draco Meteor from full health. All you need is 4 extra special defense to survive that one. What's cool about Thundurus-Therian is it really doesn't need that much special attack investment to be a threat because its base special attack is so high. It's 145 base special attack, so it's often more worthwhile to invest EVs elsewhere, helping increase your likelihood of actually posing a threat with Thundurus-Therian thanks to important bulk benchmarks. This set is also very efficient with the speed, running exactly 208 speed EVs to outrun Adamant Kyurem Black in particular. That's the most relevant guy to outrun, and the rest of the EVs can be dumped into special attack for a slight boost because you're getting the most out of every other stat already. And this is a Pokemon that could be very straightforwardly used with just a 252 max EV spread, but this is a very optimized way to get the most out of this Pokemon. It punishes Ferrothorn, which is huge. It lives Latios, which is enormous. Optimizing the EVs for this matchup can make all the difference. But this Thundurus-Therian spread is looking very different. This one is not using Substitute, and therefore all those intricate EVs designed around getting the most out of Substitute are not necessary. This set is running Agility instead. Agility is a speed boosting move, raises your speed by 2 stages. So this set is much more aggressive, with much more investment in special attack, because after you Agility, you want to get the most out of this Pokemon. You want to one-hit KO more things and do more damage. This investment in speed allows Thundurus-Therian to outrun Adamant Excadrill and one-hit KO it with Focus Blast. Any more EVs in speed than this would be a waste, because you have Agility anyway to allow you to outrun most of the format. And outrunning Adamant Excadrill is the highest impact thing you can reasonably try to outrun before your Agility boost. 24 HP and 104 EVs in special defense is the most efficient way to let Thundurus-Therian live that crucial Draco Meteor from Latios. If they have choice specs, they will still KO, but any other kind of Latios will not. Crucially, you'll live this hit, use Agility, and then outrun the enemy Choice Scarf Latios and be in a great position. This EV spread also allows you to live Choice Specs Surf in the rain from an enemy Latios. Another common hit that they might be locked into. Could be a setup opportunity for you. And finally, we'll end with this Excadrill set from Gen 6. If you weren't aware, Excadrill is one of the top Pokemon of Gen 6. In fact, it's even more powerful and more popular than Landorus-Therian in this generation. Excadrill fits very well here as it's effective into the common Clefable. It is crucially a rapid spinner and has 2 great abilities, Mold Breaker and Sand Rush. It's incredibly reliable and versatile. And my favorite Excadrill set in Gen 6 is this one. This EV spread is kind of crazy, isn't it? This is specially defensive Excadrill. With 176 HP EVs, 12 in attack, 28 in defense, 252 max in special defense, and 40 in speed. Very meticulous looking. What are the reasons behind all of these EV values? Let's start with the speed. With 40 speed, you achieve 222, and that allows you to outrun actually a lot of stuff at once. You outrun Adamant Max Speed Choice Band Tyranitar, Defensive Thundurus-Therian, and also most standard Rotom Wash sets that aren't invested in extra speed. And outrunning Rotom Wash is important because you have Mold Breaker, and you're able to bypass their Levitate and hit them with a super effective Earthquake. Not many Pokemon can do that. It's one of the reasons Excadrill is so excellent. And this is a lot of important stuff to outrun with such little EV investment. It's so efficient. The investment in a lot of HP EVs are not only efficient to get more out of your maximum special defense, but they also help you out against Chansey, because Chansey relies on Seismic Toss to deal damage, and Seismic Toss deals exactly 100 damage. With a higher HP stat, you are less devastated by this option. With the HP you already have and just 28 EVs in defense, Excadrill is able to live Earthquake from Mega Metagross, who is the top Mega Evolution in the format and an extremely common Pokemon. The remaining EVs in attack aren't for anything in particular, they're just left over, so you might as well chuck them in attack, since all the other stats are at precisely the value they need to be. This is the kind of EV spread where you can only arrive at after years and years of metagame optimization. I don't think anyone was running a spread like this back when Gen 6 was current. There were probably much more max straightforward spreads, but as the metagame evolves, things become more standardized and the speed benchmarks you have to hit are more set in stone. Something like this emerges. An EV spread designed to cover common interactions. And it's beautiful. Could you imagine a Pokemon Excadrill having a spread like this at first glance? I certainly couldn't. There are many more examples I could cover for intricate EV spreads over the years, if you guys are interested. But the video is already getting kind of long already. Which of these is your favorite? I gotta go with the classic defensive Gengar, one of the most beautiful EV spreads ever designed. But what about you folks? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching.